our Elon Out of Ed news conference. I'm Nicole Gaudiano, AFT's Media Affairs Director. I'll start us off with some background. On Monday, AFT and a coalition of labor unions filed a federal lawsuit challenging what's essentially a data heist carried out by Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency inside 3 federal government departments. The suit alleges the Department of Education, OPM, and the Department of Treasury improperly disclosed sensitive records from millions of Americans to unvetted DOJ staff who now have access to some of the government's most sensitive and closely guarded data systems. A federal judge in a separate suit on Tuesday blocked Musk's team from accessing several systems that store sensitive data, including student loans, but only temporary until Monday. Today's news conference will cover the confusion and harm that Elon Musk and his team are inflicting on our participants and their families because of this violation of the Privacy Act, and what they hope Secretary-designee Linda McMahon will say during her confirmation hearing tomorrow about stopping this this raid on private data. You'll hear from Kate Riley, a parent of 3 with 2 in college and 1 senior who filed a FAFSA over the past summer. Sarah Porcari, a 17-year-old public school student from Cheverly, Maryland. She filed her first FAFSA form last year. And Ernice Stewart, a school counselor in DC, and our very own AFT President Randi Weingarten. A reminder that this press conference is on the record. When we reach the Q&A portion, please raise your virtual hand to ask a question. I'll unmute you, and please give your name and outlet. And now I'm going to ask Kate Riley to begin to talk about getting Elon out of ed.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Kate Riley. I'm a nurse practitioner and a proud mother, single mom of 3. All 3 of my kids actually will be in college next year. So I've filled out the FAFSA several times, and I'm on my 3rd. And we know how much financial support from the Department of Education means and how it can really make or break future opportunities. So when we fill out the forms for support, we do so understanding that they need to know a lot about us. I'm talking about our Social Security information, the names of family members. Even if they need to know the name of our first pet, we put that down as well because we trust that this information is safe. So the idea that Elon Musk and a group of his employees, the same age as my children, have unfettered access to all of our financial documents is a bit unsettling. I have a child with special needs, and some of the questions that I have are, will my son get the information and the resources he needs with this disability and some of his diagnoses? I see how Elon is going through what authority, I don't know, but I've seen in the past that he has been slashing programs and funds left and right in every department with no regard for how it will affect children in our communities. As far as I can tell, he isn't qualified to decide who does and doesn't get financial aid or their support from the Department of Education. And I want Linda McMahon to say as much tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. Now we'll go to Sarah Porcari.
Hello, my name is Sarah Porcari. I'm a high school senior, and I filled out my first FAFSA form at the end of 2024. I did this so that I could qualify for student loans in order to pay for my college this fall. I thought this was a safe website since it's run by the government. When I filled out the FAFSA, I gave my social security number and my parents' income information as well as their investment information. I thought that information would be private and secure. Now I'm not sure what's happening with the security of my FAFSA information. I'm only 17 years old, and I don't know who has access to my personal information or how this data breach will affect my future in college and in general. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sarah. And now to Ernice.
Good morning. My name is Ernie Stewart, and I am a professional school counselor in Washington, D.C., as well as a mom of a daughter who is currently in college and who has received financial aid and scholarships. Every time my daughter tries to speak with someone about the data breach, hearing what Elon has been up to, she's been told different things. We don't know everything that they've gotten their hands on or what else they will be able to access. As a concerned citizen, I have questions for Elon Musk. Like, why do you really want to access everyone's data so badly? How about my social security number, my household income? In my profession, we strive to get to the root cause of an issue and to dig really deep, like what's going on. And so I want to know what's your purpose. If it's merely to cut spending, why'd you hire computer programmers instead of forensic accountants? Why are you targeting the Department of Education, which makes up less than 1% of the budget, instead of like Department of Defense, which accounts for 16% of spending, but where you also have billions of dollars in government contracts? Why do you need to access my daughter's scholarship information? Why do you even need my home address? I can't help but wonder if there's a hidden agenda. If one of the country's wealthiest men, who also happens to be deeply invested in AI, has access to all this information. Whatever it is, I feel like it's a gross violation of privacy, and I'm frightened to see what will come of this. Something tells me that it'll hurt rather than help the people that the Department of Ed strive to support. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ernice. And now we will go to AFT President Randi Weingarten.
Thank you, Nicole. So I really want to say thank you to Kate and to Sarah and to Ernice, because they are the face of why we brought the lawsuit that we brought. And sorry, let me just make sure. Can you hear me? Nicole, can you hear me? I just wanted to make sure my stuff is right. Okay. So we brought this case, as did several of the other unions, but we wanted to have this press conference today. We were going to do it outside, but for the snow, because we wanted to actually show the face of who is affected. Yesterday, Elon Musk in the Oval Office said that they were doing this for efficiency and said that they were doing this to cut bureaucracy, said that they were doing this to find money that should not be spent by the federal government, said that they were doing this because of the bureaucrats. Let's be really clear about the Privacy Act and what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the people who actually use the Department of Education, which since the early 2000s has become one of the biggest banks and repositories for kids and young adults who take, and parents who take student loans out for college. It is a repository. It is a conduit. It is trying to make sure that these folks can actually afford college. Why would you take their data? Why would you have coders go into their personal information for that, for any purpose? And the same is true in terms of financial aid. You heard this from Sarah and from Kate. It is a conduit. It is a way of ensuring that there is one unitary system throughout the United States of America, so that when a young adult wants to go to college and seeks financial aid, there's a lot of information. Why do you need that information in terms of making a bureaucracy more efficient? Let's be clear. We all want to make bureaucracy more efficient. In fact, that was Vice President Gore's job years ago. That is a job that every administration attempts to do, to make bureaucracy more efficient. And we're all for making bureaucracy more efficient. But why would you go in and take people's personal data for the parts of this bureaucracy that actually is trying to help kids go to college or help make college more affordable for the 45 million people that have student debt? And maybe we got an answer yesterday at Elon Musk's press conference with Donald Trump, because he said at one point or another there was a federal employee whose net worth was so great they couldn't understand why this person's net worth was so great on a federal salary. That means that Elon Musk went in and saw that person's personal financial data and was using it and weaponizing it. That is what we are concerned about. This is a violation of core privacy that I suspect even Trump voters never anticipated or expected, that this government would be basically stealing or taking or creating a data breach for all of their personal information. That is why we are filing this lawsuit. And that's why we wanted to have this press conference today. So you see the face of individuals who are affected. Individuals who, by the way, once they put their face out there and their name out there, we assume that it will be weaponized by the likes of people like Elon Musk. So that's why we had to go to court, not just actually complain about this, because we do not believe that our current government cares enough about the people in America that this current government will protect their interests and protect their personal privacy. Separate and apart from this, we have other issues with what they are doing in terms of ed, and that includes taking money that goes to individual children in Title I, in IDEA, meaning kids who are poor, kids who are disabled, kids who want career tech ed, kids who actually go and have Pell Grants, kids who are English language learners. But that is a press conference for another day, for later on today. So we are asking Linda McMahon, please do not do this to individuals. Do not take their privacy. Do not invade their privacy. If you are going to be the Department of Education secretary, if you're going to be the cabinet secretary, please protect children, protect their parents, protect those who have tried to actually get ahead in life through going to college. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Randi. Please raise your virtual hand if you have any questions.
Were we so clear that there are no questions?
Okay. We have Mark Grunberg. I'm going to unmute you.
Mark Grunberg from Press Associates Union News Service. Thank you for the press conference. I guess the best way of putting it is, in a way, this isn't just the Department of Education we're talking about, is it? We're talking about a massive data breach by Elon Musk of all 330 million people in this country. What's the next step? How do you stop that?
Yes, Mark, yes, we are talking about that. And there are several cases that have been filed about all of this, including, as Nicole said in her introduction, there's a California Students Association case where a judge has created or said has a temporary TRO. Our case goes across Treasury, OPM, and Ed. but I wanted to really explain the education issues because of what the education department does. And you see the face of people who have been affected. There's millions of people who have been affected, but every single person who has applied for or gets Social Security is affected. Every taxpayer, as Anish said, is affected. And the irony here is at the same exact time as Elon Musk and his coders have information across basically that affects all Americans, he refuses to disclose his interests as someone who is a government contractor who gets probably millions, if not billions of dollars in his own companies in terms of all of this. So number one is to try to stop the data breach. That's number one. And number two is to try to actually get Congress to do the kind of accountability on all of this. But that's why we're going to the courts, to try to get the courts to interpret the law and stop this invasion of privacy.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have anyone else? Hey, Amanda, I'm unmuting you.
Great, thank you. Hi, I'm Amanda Gould with the 74. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit more about what message you're hoping to explicitly hear tomorrow. You know, whether that be a plan moving forward or a response to this breach in particular, but what you would need to hear to feel comfortable with this nomination.
Well, what we want to hear is that Linda McMahon is concerned about this and is going to take action, immediate action upon her confirmation to stop this breach of privacy and invasion of the personal and the financial interests of all the Americans that are affected. That she, as a cabinet secretary, which last I look, I'm a high school social studies teacher. Last I reviewed the Constitution, a cabinet secretary has a higher rank, particularly a confirmed officer from, with a confirmation from the Senate, than someone who has been not only not elected, but not subject to confirmation in a department that the Congress has never actually envisioned, that has been created by executive order. So I would hope that what she would do is protect students and protect families from this kind of financial intrusion and invasion, and then unwind all of this, and then say to the public in America, say to the millions of people that have been affected, the steps she's taking to stop it.
Thank you.
And Sarah and Anish, if you have something to add, please do.
Anyone else? I'll give it one more second. Okay, that concludes our news conference. If you have any additional questions, please reach out. We'll be happy to follow up.